Hello, my artist friends. Welcome to Imagination Draw Along. I'm Aunt Dewey. Thank you for drawing with me today. Today I want to draw a scene with dinosaurs. So let's visualize the paper before we get into it. I know that I want to draw a big, scary T-Rex, a friendly brontosaurus, and a flying pterodactyl. I'm also going to add a pond and some footprints. That way scientists can find fossils later. The first thing I'm going to draw is in the middle of my paper, I'm drawing a little pond for all the dinosaurs to drink from when they're thirsty. Next, I'm going to draw my huge brontosaurus. This is the dinosaur with the very long neck, longer than a giraffe's neck, and a very long tail. His head and neck are almost shaped like giant worms or a snake because of the way the head kind of flows into his neck. So I'm drawing it as sort of all one piece flowing. And the neck is a little bit thinner by the head, and then it gets wider as it gets close to my dinosaur's very big body. The body reminds me of a big hill. The back, or the top of the back, is kind of arched, and my dino has a wide, full belly and 4 very strong, very big legs. My brontosaurus also has some flat feet like an elephant's feet. And it almost looks like it has little toenails on there. I better come back and finish the tail. The tail is super long. And similar to the neck, it's wider towards the body, and then it gets thinner and thinner as it goes away. I'm going to make an artist's choice and make this tail very dramatic, so it's kind of curling and winding around. Your dino tail might be a little bit more scientifically accurate than mine. I'm going to revisit this dinosaur's head, and if you drew a dinosaur with its mouth open, I'll let you know they have very flat teeth because brontosauruses are herbivores or plant eaters. So they use their flat, square teeth to grind up plant matter. And I'm adding a little bit of a smile to my brontosaurus and some eyes. And now that I'm reminded that she's a plant eater, I'm going to draw a tall tree right next to her, and the leaves will be right next to her face, so she's able to eat the leaves and have a snack. Just a quick, nourishing tree. I'm not going to add a lot of detail. But you can. Now, on the other side of my paper and on the other side of my pond, I want to draw a Tyrannosaurus Rex, or a T-Rex. These are the dinosaurs that are famous for their huge heads and huge bodies and huge legs and teeny tiny arms. Oh, and their vicious, bloodthirsty teeth. I don't want my T-Rex to be tempted to snack on my brontosaurus, so I'm drawing him far on the other side of the pond. That way it's still a peaceful scene. He is a carnivore after all. So I'm going to draw his big head, which is kind of oval shaped. And I'm noticing that the top of his head is bigger than the bottom jaw part of his head. And since I want to draw his big scary teeth, I will draw his mouth wide open and his head a little bigger on the top than the bottom. Now instead of a nose, he has little nostrils, and he has eyes on the sides of his head. And now I'm going to add in those big, huge teeth, very sharp, very jagged. I would not want one to poke me. And next I'll draw his huge body standing strong on two thick legs, like big tree trunks. And I'm making sure he has a round belly to show that he's nice and full. And I've got his knees just a little bit bent, so it looks like he's ready to run. In my opinion, my T-Rex has a similar body to a kangaroo, but that's kind of just how I drew him. My T-Rex feet look a little bit like bird feet, of course, proportional to his size and not teeny tiny like his arms will be. He has almost 3 talon toes, almost like a bald eagle or even like a chicken. Scientists say birds and dinosaurs are very closely related. They're both called theropods. But even though this T-Rex might have a similar bone structure to a bird, he cannot fly. And I better draw those teeny tiny arms of his. I think they're even smaller than his head. I'm not sure how he uses them. And I wonder if any of the artists/scientists who are listening might know better than me. I better come back and finish the tail. My T-Rex is looking very happy and very scary, which is how he is the most comfortable. My T-Rex is trying to convince me that he is not going to take a nibble out of any of the other dinosaurs. But I'm not sure I trust him, so I'm going to do something very silly. I'm going to draw a teeny tiny little pizza in my T-Rex's teeny tiny little hand. That way, if he's hungry, he'll have something other than my friends to eat. Did dinosaurs ever have pizzas for real? No, I don't think any scientists have confirmed that they have. But my imagination wants to give a dinosaur a pizza, and so I will. Now in the sky, I'll draw a pterodactyl. This is the dinosaur that looks most like a bird, in my opinion, because he can fly. But he has an odd-shaped head, which I'll describe and then we'll draw. He has a head like a bird, but with a very long beak. And then on top of his head, there's something that looks like a shark fin called a crest. And it's very, very long, similar to his beak. And then he has wings like a bat. So let's try it. I'll start with the head like a bird. It's funny, as I was drawing the main part of my bird head, I thought his head seemed egg-shaped, and birds lay eggs. So that's kind of funny to me. Then I'm drawing a very long beak, and it's a little bit open, so I've got a top and a bottom so that he can dive down and snap up some fish to eat. Pterodactyls are carnivores as well, which means they eat meat, but they seek smaller prey because they're smaller animals themselves. Next, I'm drawing that crest that looks like a shark fin on top of his head, but maybe longer and a bit more narrow. I believe this helps him fly steady. It's part of his aerodynamics. Aerodynamic means flies well. That's a word we talked a lot about on a draw-along episode where we drew a rocket with Dr. May C. Jemison. Next on this little guy, we're going to draw some big bat-like wings. So, unlike birds, there's no feathers. He's more reptilian, so his skin is stretched to help him glide. And he has little bird claw feet, similar to the T-Rex, but of course, much, much smaller. Let's take a look at your picture. Are there any details you want to add? Any colors to the dinosaurs or textures to their skin? The last thing I want to add is I want to hide a couple of fossils all around my paper so that a scientist might find them later. So I'm going to add maybe some T-Rex footprints or a brontosaurus footprint or a dinosaur tooth or claw or some bones. I'll leave it up to you what kind of fossils you want to draw. Remember, there is no wrong way to do art. While you're hiding your fossils on your paper, I'm going to turn to the adults really quick and say thank you very, very much for pushing play on this show. Thank you for listening multiple times. I've been hearing that some artists like to do the same episode over and over again, and sometimes we draw the same picture, or maybe they like to add something different, and I think that is so cool and developmentally appropriate. So encourage the artists in your life to keep up the great work. If you want to get involved or learn how to support the show, visit imaginationdrawalong.com, where we can display your artist's artwork, or you can learn how to subscribe or leave a review. Either one of those things helps the show a lot, and we really appreciate it. Artists, how are your fossils going? Maybe someday you'll be the artist/scientist who finds a fossil. Take the time you need to finish up your picture. And when you decide that you're done, be sure to write your name on the bottom of your paper, or your best first initial, or any little scribble that reminds you that this is your paper and you're proud that you took time today to do some artwork. Until we draw together again next time, I'll give you some things for your imagination to wonder about. 1. Why is it always footprints and teeth and claws and bones that end up as fossils? 2. Why were the dinosaurs so big? 3. If you met a dinosaur, how would you feel? Thank you so much for drawing with me today. I hope we draw together again soon.